This video is not for whales and dolphins. It's for you, because you are just like me. Average Gamer here, and today we need to talk about Jane's weapon banner. But to be clear, it's actually not Jane's Wengine that I want to talk about at all. It's our boy Seth's. I stand by my earlier comments that pretty much every weapon banner is likely to be bait. However, Seth's weapon is going to be an A rank rate up weapon on Jane's weapon banner, which means it shouldn't take too many pulls to get it. And I'm going to dive into why maybe we should think about it. So, moving on back to the weapon banner. Now, in terms of clarification, I am not saying that we need to pull on the weapon banner, but I am going to point out how it could be beneficial if you plan to build Seth. Now, if you're already set with your two teams, maybe you have Ellen and Juyuan, so you're not really interested, then of course, you wouldn't need to consider pulling on the weapon banner. But if you want to build Seth either for a Jane Doe team or for an anomaly team, then you may want to heed the advice here. So Seth's Wengine is on Jane's weapon banner, which definitely makes this the highest value weapon banner that we've had so far, as Seth's Wengine is also new, as well as Jane's. And I am still not saying that you should send it and prepare 160 pulls to get Jane's weapon. Jane's weapon does look good for her, they always do, but she'll be fine without it, so don't worry about that. I'm certainly not planning on changing my mind on a weapon banner because hot. So we'll talk specifics about how many pulls you should consider in a moment, but to start now, we should consider, is Seth's weapon even worth it? And the short answer is maybe, and let's take a look at why. So let's start with Seth's most important ability, which is his core passive. Now this buffs anomaly proficiency when he uses his EX special attack. He gains a shield of firm resolve, which is equal to 68% of his initial attack. Now that 68% will go higher as you level them up to a max of 3,000 points. Now when another character enters the field, they gain the shield for 25 seconds, and having the shield is equal to a pretty handy anomaly proficiency buff. It says 85 here, but this screenshot was taken during Jane's story quest, so his core passive would have been at level 4. And the scaling here kind of means that in terms of weapons, he really wants the extra attack so you can keep the shield active for the duration, and most of the defense weapons don't have that additional attack buff. Only the defense battle pass Wengine scales like that, which would make that his second best if you are in fact a battle pass player. Now, if you think you're good enough to just not get hit, then sure, you can probably ignore a lot of what I'm going to say, but I think for most players, the extra attack is going to be really useful to make sure we make the most out of the buff from his shield. But in terms of other free-to-play options to buff his attack, the bunny band buffs the agent's attack while they are shielded, but I don't think this would work particularly well on Seth, bearing in mind that he won't actually have the shield when he's off-field as it transfers to the on-field character, so he would lose that attack plus when he's meant to be using it. However, overall, it still might be pretty good, and the weapon itself will require testing when it comes out. I actually think it may work out better for Seth, bearing in mind that he needs the attack to run him with an A rank attack Wengine like Starlight Engine, and just ignore the fact that he's going to miss out on the Wengine effect down here because he really wants to up that attack. Now, if your drives are cracked and you don't need the extra attack, then congrats, happy for you, nice. But most of us are probably going to want the attack scaling on his Wengine. That is, unless of course you plan to build Seth as like a pseudo stun agent with his passive still contributing to anomaly buffs, of course, then you can think about the original Transmorpher as a defense Wengine. Or as with the attack Wengine, you could use a stun Wengine as opposed to a defense one that you would normally expect to see on Seth, and just ignore the fact again that you're going to miss out on the Wengine effect. Before we move on to talking about Seth's Wengine specifically though, this is your reminder that you're probably not subscribed. Please consider doing so, as it really helps to support small creators like me. Thanks for all the support so far, you guys are amazing. I can't believe we hit 10,000 subs. Celebratory stream is on Thursday 5th of September at 9 PM UK as voted for by the Discord, and also if you haven't joined the Discord, it's full of pretty chill helpful peeps. 3 PM CDT, which is Central America, 4 AM PHST for the Philippines, and you can figure out your time zones from there. And it'll be right here on YouTube. It'll be my first time though, so please be gentle. Back on topic, and I think I've made my case for the attack on Seth, so let's talk more about the specific bonus Wengine effect for Seth's weapon. The anomaly buildup of EX special attacks and assist follow-ups is increased by 36%, which makes Seth an absolute anomaly building powerhouse, and that's in addition to the solid attack and attack bonus helping Seth to hit his attack requirements, 624 base attack and 25% attack, so perfect stats for Seth. The Wengine also increases the equipper's energy regen while shielded, which is going to help Seth to hit his EX special more often too. And for clarity, again, this is not an S rank weapon. It should not take 80 pulls to get it because the Wengine isn't actually guaranteed, though it could in fact also take more than 80 pulls. So if you feel like you do want to get the weapon, let's talk specifics around expectations and how you should pull on the weapon banner. So firstly, I would only pull on this weapon banner if you you have Jane, or a plan to use the S rank weapon should you get extremely lucky, i.e. another anomaly character that can make use of it. Secondly then, if you're pulling just for Seth's Wengine, you should allocate no more than 20 pulls, which is 3,200 polychrome, and that sounds like a lot to give up, and it kind of is. So I would also recommend trying Seth out with some other weapons. You might have a decent attack Wengine just hanging about if you're mixing up your teams a bit, so he could use that for now to try and get his attack up, for example, without you having to invest into another weapon and just see how that feels. Then if towards the end of the banner you really want that extra buff for him because you like him and you want to use him for a while, then yeah, it makes sense to maybe do 20 pulls on the banner. So let's clarify why I'm saying 20 pulls quickly. Now there's going to be some basic maths and probability talk here, but I'll try and keep it exciting. So the A rank appearance on any single pull is 15%. So with 20 pulls and pity at 10 pulls for A ranks, you are guaranteed at least 2 A ranks within 20, but you should get 3 with the single pulls at that 15%. The 2 A rank Wengines on the banner are at 75% up. So to get one of them, like Seth's, it's a 37.5% chance per A rank that you get the one you want. So 3 attempts at 37.5% chance is not guaranteed, but it is pretty solid. So therefore, 20 pulls should be enough over 70% of the time. And the reason why I'm saying 20 is because you don't want to fall victim to the sunk cost fallacy whereby you keep thinking, oh well, it has to be the next one, and then it just keeps you pulling. Plus, probability without a guarantee reaches a point of diminishing returns, and I'd say that point is 3 at 37.5%. I'll flash some probability calcs up now if you want to make your own call on your stopping point. At least then you are informed. So I'd recommend that you do the pulls individually, as then you can stop as soon as you get it and cap yourself off at 20. This does also mean if a really good weapon comes out for a future character, you will already have a bit of pity built up on the banner. There is also a very low chance that you get Jane's weapon before Seth's, and if that were to happen, I would suggest that you stop pulling, as the banner has lost a lot of its value to you at that point, because then you're not pulling for 2 weapons, you're just pulling for 1 more, which is Seth's. Of course, this is just my opinion, and as always, you can do whatever the hell you want. Oh, and just to add, there isn't a precedent yet for this in Zenless Zone Zero, but I imagine that both Seth and his Wengine will go into standard banner as we head into a patch 1.2. So that means if you decide not to get his Wengine now, doesn't mean that you are going to be always without it, and you will eventually get it if you continue playing. But I definitely understand that having it on the rate up is certainly appealing, because it's a way to increase the likelihood to get it. I think for my own situation, I think I'll consider Seth's weapon if I win my 50-50 for Jane. I'm about 50 pulls away from that right now, and hopefully I get at least a couple of copies of Seth, as I honestly might be more excited for him from a team building perspective than I am for Jane. I think if I lose the 50-50, it does bring down the chances of me pulling for Seth's weapon. Kind of depends what I'm working with in terms of amount of remaining polychrome. If it's anything less than 90 pulls, I may not pull entirely, so that I can still take the 50-50 for Caesar if I want her. I'm going to give Seth a go without his Wengine first though, either way, and then just see how we go. So is this weapon banner whale bait? Maybe less so than usual, but it is still bait. But with clearly laid out stopping points, I can see and understand reasoning to throw a few pulls at it this time around. Another video of mine should pop up now if you're interested, but before you go, let me know down below, what are you planning to do? Are you planning to pull Seth? What do you think about his Wengine? And as always, remember to like and subscribe for better than average luck on your next pulls. I'm off to listen to the new trailer now with headphones on. Ooh, bye bye bye.